One of the things that's really great about 360 video for the post is it allows us to take the reader to where our reporters go. That we have incredible access on the campaign trail and at campaign events, and so we can take our audience with us to go backstage at a debate, to go into the spin room, to see what the campaign trail is like almost from the perspective of either the candidate themselves or the audience there. So 360 video is even more deeply immersive than regular video because it lets the user choose what to look at. It really feels like you're standing there.
So tell us how that works. So do you have a dedicated team, or is this sort of a unit, and the editing and the gear? Give us an idea of what's involved.
We're in the early stages, but one of the things that is different about 360 video are the number of people that have to be involved. Where with our regular video projects, we send out maybe one person, they often edit their own stories. We often send out a team of 2 or 3 people when we're doing 360 video, just because of the pieces involved and the need to monitor is a little bit different. Normally you never have to leave your camera behind when you're doing regular video, but when you're doing 360 video, unless you want to be right in your own shot, you basically have to set up the camera, walk away, and then even the editing of it is more complicated because in some cases you're stitching together the footage from multiple cameras, somewhere between 6 and 12.
So tell us how you guys do it.
So we've done
on the campaign trail.
Sure. We've done it a couple of different ways. We're mostly using smaller cameras that are stitched together. We've done a 6-camera GoPro rig that we often use, and then we have to stitch that footage together. But we've also used cameras from Nokia and Google and GoPro, which are self-stitching. They generally take a couple hours to do the stitching for us, but then we can work with that rough product and do after production on it. It still is a team of 2 or 3 people. For example, from the RNC and the DNC, when we were at the conventions, we would record at the conventions, and then overnight we would get the stitch footage back and then post it in the morning. So there are a couple of hours lag time between when we would shoot it and when we'd be able to distribute it. We were doing some minimal production afterwards just because it was a news event and we were in a bit of a rush. If we really wanted to produce the highest quality piece, it would take even longer once we get the stitch footage. But then we're putting that up usually with a little bit of context, either joining it to a text story or with extended captions. And basically what we're asking our readers to do is, instead of a traditional linear story where we would have some narration or there's more of a clear start and stop, we're asking them to jump in, look around, and kind of see what we saw.
So as a follow-up to that, what is the sort of what do you find the editorial focus is, and or how do you construct things, and also like what's the role of audio and a kind of a perspective in these, or is it just really an immersive thing to sort of see what's going on?
Well, I think these early days, it's about just an immersive thing to see what's going on. But the longer term is, if we can use spatial audio that's truly directional, we can use those as cues to guide people. And it gets much easier to do a more traditional storytelling experience where we can use an audio cue to tell you to look in a particular direction or to pay attention to a particular thing. We're also working on technology that would allow us within our player to script the experience. So we could say, at this particular time code, fade out, and then when you fade back in, have a scene that's focused in a particular place. So we could join together sections of footage instead of having just one single experience that you pan about however you want. You have a scene, and then the next scene we refocus you. And that's important because right now it's hard to tell people where to start when they look in a new place.
And tell us about the platform itself. So it's on your player. Is it in other places? Tell us sort of about how it runs on other players like Facebook and kind of the syndicated scenario, perhaps.
Absolutely. Right now we're focused on putting the video on the Washington Post's website. We usually have been doing that in conjunction with YouTube, so we'll post that to our YouTube channel, and then we'll take the YouTube player, which works pretty well, and put it on our own site. That said, we're also looking at Facebook as a platform because we really want to basically take these stories as much as possible to where the audience is. Some of the audience is coming to us directly, but lots of the audience is in a place where they're already experiencing 360 video, and Facebook and YouTube are really important places for us to be.
Cool. And so we're kind of getting into the election here. You guys are doing more early on. Is it sort of a test and learn, or are you guys sort of establishing a new form of media, or is it a little early to tell, or what are your thoughts?
I think it's early, but I think 360 video is going to be an ongoing tool that we use. It's not that we've stopped doing linear video just because we have 360 now. We're really looking for specific moments where we can take people to some place that they're unlikely to have seen before. We don't necessarily want to take 360 video to a press conference because there's really one place to focus in that environment. On the other hand, if we can take you to an election night event, if we can show you what's happening as a debate gets geared up, those are the kinds of places where you might want to look in different directions. So if we know that there's a singular focus, we're going to do linear video. If we know that it's really a moment that you could just jump in and look anywhere, then 360 makes a lot of sense.